Welcome back, everyone, to the Abundance Formula podcast. Hopefully, I don't get in a coughing fit today, but pardon that I have a cold. I've had this cold since like Sunday. It's kind of run through the whole family, of course, but I've turned the corner, and so I'm really on the out of it. But it's kind of moved now from my nose and down into sort of my throat. So sometimes it kind of awkwardly catches when I'm talking or something like that. So, anyways, hopefully we'll make it through this episode without getting into a little coughing fit, but I do have some water here in case that happens. But hope everyone's doing well. We've got some, I don't even know if we should get excited over here because last weekend we were told we were getting a winter storm here in Tennessee, but it kind of blew north of us, at least here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so we didn't get any snow. We just got a bunch of rain and ice. But luckily we didn't lose power. We didn't get any snow. So my girls were like, we're so mad at the weather, man. I'm like, listen, this is classic for Tennessee. But then this weekend, they say we're supposed to get snow again. Not a winter storm, but like maybe 1 to 3 inches. So we're not really believing it. But in classic Tennessee style, what is going to happen is we were faked out last week. So no one's going to believe them this weekend, and then watch, it'll be like the blizzard of 93 and nobody will have gone to the store, no roads will be salted, we'll all have not taken anything seriously, and then we'll be screwed. But I hope we see some snow for the girls. That would be great. It'd be really fun to get one good little snow like that, like a few inches would be great. And then, in my opinion, we can just move on to spring. So it'll be great to see a little bit of snow. We'll call it our winter here in Tennessee, and we will move onward to spring because it has been so cold here. It's literally in the teens. And tomorrow, they said even if it snows, like be careful with the kids because with the wind chill, it's only going to be like 5 degrees, which is a big deal for here. My grandparents live in the UP in Upper Michigan, and I don't know how they do this. They're in their upper 80s, and they literally were telling us the other day it's negative 25 for them. They're like, oh yeah, 5 degrees with wind chill's pretty cold. Our high was 8 today. The low was negative 25. I'm like, how do you survive? Can you even open your front door? I'm very curious. Like sometimes when it's cold here and you're trying to open your car to go to work and it's kind of icy, like I got to yank the door pretty good, like my car door to get out, like let alone your house door. Like, can you even open your house? How do your eyeballs, my contacts would freeze in my eyes, I feel like, as soon as I stepped outside in negative 25-degree weather. I don't know, but I guess when you're just acclimated to that, you're just used to living in that kind of world in the snow up north. It's just the usual, I guess. But anyway, so we'll see if we get some snow tomorrow. If we wake up and it's a snow day, that'd be a lot of fun. But anyway, so today's episode is just going to be a quickie. That the idea for this podcast episode kind of came to me when during this week I saw two things that just tied in so beautifully to all this identity conversation that we've been having over the past several weeks. I saw two things. One, I saw on Instagram as I was just kind of scrolling this Instagram clip of this kid that went on American Idol named Jesse Findling. And I love watching the American Idol like snippets for these things to hear these incredible stories. So this kid comes on American Idol and he has a stutter. And his younger brother has a stutter, and so they have this stutter, and he's trying to, he's talking to the judges, they're asking him questions about who he is and why he loves to sing and all this stuff, and so in just even trying to tell his story, he's stuttering, and you can tell the judges are thinking, okay, so he has a stutter. But why he loves to sing is he figured out at a young age that when he sings, he doesn't stutter. And so, of course, by the time he gets to singing his song, he freaking kills it. It's like tear jerking. I mean, it's amazing. He has such unique vibrato. The judges loved him. He has a unique voice. Like he's gonna either win the whole thing or go a very long way. And he'll totally leave with a career in music for sure. But it was just so cool. Like, again, born with the stutter, but not when he sings. And so then that led me into one of my other really good friends, Blake Leeper, who, when I lived in California, I used to work at the Challenge Athletes Foundation with him. He's a Paralympian. He'd come and he would volunteer to help teach people to run and help people who wanted to do higher level sports that were amputees learn to do different skills and things like that. So he's a decorated Paralympian, world record holder, sponsored by all these incredible companies, athletic companies. So Blake, I saw him post on his Instagram. Oh, and he came on my podcast too, all the way back at episode 18. So I've had him on the podcast. If you want to hear more of his backstory, you can go to episode 18 and hear his incredible story. But I saw him post on his Instagram that his documentary finally dropped. That's on Amazon Prime. So he's got a documentary that's dropped about his backstory and his athletic pursuits, but also his latest pursuit, which has been to qualify to be able to compete against able-bodied Olympians. So it's kind of that whole journey training process. So it's just a great sports story. And it's really incredible. So I'm going to watch all of it this weekend, but it's on Amazon Prime. So it got me thinking about Blake, and I'm so excited for him that this documentary's come out. So it's called Abled on Amazon Prime. So you can rent it or you can buy it. But what it got me thinking, both these two people, seeing both these stories just refreshing my mind this week. These incredible people who, from the outside looking in or from the surface level view, whether to themselves or other people, the thing that's their gift, that's what set them apart to make a big impact in the world was not something you would have expected. And if anything, you would have thought would send them in the opposite direction. So a lot of people confuse what they were born with or what happened to them or what they struggle with as their identity. But for Blake, he wasn't born to be limited. And for Jesse, he wasn't born to be silent. So their circumstances spoke loudly, but their identity has spoke louder. The world might have a diagnosis or logic that predicts, but identity decides. And so when you know who you aren't influenced by your environment, you influence the environment. So whatever room you walk into, when you know your true identity, you should be able to walk into that room and you don't gain your identity from the room, and that room can't take it from you when you leave. So that's super important. And Jesse stutters when he speaks, but he sings freely. Blake was born without his legs, and now he runs for a living. Like, do you guys see that? So sometimes the very place that you think disqualifies you is the place where your gift actually comes alive. And it's all about a perspective shift. And calling doesn't say, okay, once this is fixed, then you can. Calling says go exactly as you are. And in my opinion, it's God says go exactly as you are and watch what I do with that, right? That's his favorite thing to do, is to take people who the world would say one thing, but God says another. You know what I mean? And that's what's incredible about what miracles are. It's like, it's a more powerful story to take the thing that you thought disqualified you and it be the thing that impacts the world. So, Blake said it best himself. I loved it on my podcast that I had him on. He said, I was literally born without legs, and now I run around the world for my job as my career. He goes, anything is possible. And I love that. He was saying as a kid, he used to tell people like, I want to be an athlete. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be a runner. And people are looking at him like, you don't even have legs. You know what I mean? But like, the world doesn't give you your true identity. It's something that was intrinsically put in you in the womb. And that's why that's so powerful, because it is not something that can be taken away from you. It can be something that you get lost from because you believe the false things the world says. But that does not mean that's who you are. So sometimes the very thing that you think disqualifies you is exactly the thing that makes you stand out and is the vehicle God wants to use to provide deep value in the world. Another one of my favorite people, Jordan Thomas, had him on my podcast as well. He's a bilateral amputee below the knee as well. And he started the Jordan Thomas Foundation as a really young kid after he lost his legs, and has raised so much money to help fund prosthetic legs for kids all the way until they're 18 years old. He gained such huge recognition from his amazing accomplishments with this foundation that he's won an ESP, like all this crazy stuff. And I love what Jordan loves to say. He just says, simply, I lost my legs, but I found my purpose. And that's such an incredible perspective shift that we need to take in, that the perspective that you choose determines the opportunities that you're even able to see. So when you see yourself through limitation, your world shrinks. But when you see yourself through your true identity, then your possibility expands and is limitless, right? So it's not who you, if it's who you were made to be, then nothing can stop you. Nothing's impossible. And so I thought these two stories this week were such great inspirations that we could all just draw from as yet another example of two people that decide they're not different than any of the rest of us in the sense that we all have a true identity. Some of us have discovered it, some of us haven't. Some of us are in the middle in our constructed identity, something that is working, but it's not quite our freest place. But these are an example of two people who have stepped into their true identity, and look what it's doing. Miracles are happening. And so I hope that inspires you guys today, that literally you can see that don't discount yourself for the mess in your life. Don't discount yourself for any of the mistakes or the things that you see as limitation, because that's false. And oftentimes look there first, because that's where, in my opinion, the devil has purposely tried to distract you to think that this is a weakness when it's actually what God intended to use as your greatest strength, you know? So that's just something for you guys to consider this week. I hope that this was thought-provoking. I hope that you start thinking about perspective shifts as you're going through your day. And I hope this encourages you to really continue to do this deep identity work, because it's so foundational for getting where you want to go. And it's that anchor point when things do get tough. It's not like it's been easy for either of these two guys in the pursuit of what their soul was called to. It's not been easy. And as you'll see when you watch Blake's documentary, it's not been easy. And there's still, fights to be had, but they feel worth it because you're in the right place and you're in alignment with who you're supposed to be, and you feel confident even when it's tough because you're on the right track and you know that you're showing up in who you're meant to be. So hope this was inspiring to you guys. Check out both those people. Jesse Findling, he's got an Instagram, and of course you could see it on the American Idol's page as well. Like, you'll find him in the little snippet they did of his story and him singing. And then check out Blake Leeper. His Instagram, I think, is @Leapster. And again, you can listen to his past episode. You can listen to Jordan Thomas's past episode as well on the Abundance Formula podcast, just to hear more about stories again of people who, it didn't matter what they didn't have. It mattered who they were and who they knew they were called to be. And they stepped into that anyways. And they didn't focus on what they didn't have. They focused on what they could create and the power in their story. So I hope that this can help you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Be safe if you're in anywhere where there could be snow or ice. And I'll catch y'all next week. Have a good one. Bye.